Greetings. It has been quite a bit since the last time I made a video and posted it up to YouTube, so I thought I would make another one and just kind of go over what's been going on in my life, because quite a few things have happened since the last time I uploaded. So, alrighty. So the last video I made was in November. It was about, I believe it was about kind of me going over um, my struggles and kind of my progress in becoming the man that God made me to be and everything, trying to embrace masculinity and its virtues and everything. And one of the things I talked about was wanting to go into the electrical trades and also wanting to get a girlfriend and like pursuing marriage as a vocation. So, um, spoiler alert, I got a girlfriend and I also joined the IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. So those two things happened, but I'm going to get into the bigger picture, like what actually happened from November to now. So, December is when I finished my third semester at community college. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I really don't know what I'm doing at college. I am majoring in liberal arts. I have no idea what I want to do. I'm spending money to learn about subjects that I really do I even need these, that kind of thing. And so I'm like, okay, I'm probably gonna go into the trades. So, um, did a little bit of browsing and stuff, just kind of looking at what the different trades were, and so I settled on electrical work, electricians, because um, it is it just sounds cool to me. Like it has and also electricity keeps getting more advanced, and so there's just like near infinite job stability with like electricians. And now that's not to say that other trades aren't needed. It's just to say that electrical work in particular is very um it the future is bright. We'll just put it that way. The future is very bright. Um so that's why I chose that. And so I decided that, you know what, I am going to not go to I'm not going to go back to DMAC for a fourth semester for the spring semester. And so that's what I decided to do. Um, in January, I visited the Newton DMAC campus, and because they have a electrical trades program. And so I thought, well, because I'm green, green is the term for someone being very new and inexperienced in the trades. So I was very green. I was kind of afraid of like, just kind of being thrown into the trades raw and just kind of starting off as an apprentice or as a helper, I should say. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to classes for this first, and so I know what I'm doing, and then I can go to work. So that was kind of my mindset. The problem with the Newton DMAT campus is that, okay, remember this is January. The electrical trades program at this college begins in August. So that's like a 7 month wait. That is a lot of time, especially considering the fact that I'm not going to be going back for a fourth semester. So um, it was very concerning, but basically the idea was that okay, I'm not going to go back. I'm just going to work full time at Hy-Vee, and in the meantime, I'm also going to try to find some um very basic electrical like work. Like I'll go to some shops and say, hey, if I can sweep some floors, like just stuff like that. If I can just do some grunt work. And so yeah, I continued working at Hy-Vee. The problem was that this store in particular was very overstaffed. It was very overstaffed. I I worked in the aisles online department, and for those who don't know, that is literally just grocery shopping for customers. You shop groceries all day. Or for me, I was still working part time, so it was only 5 hours. Um, 5 hours a couple days a week. Which look, just looking back on that, that was rough. Like that was so much free time and just so little work time. I couldn't ask for full-time hours because they had no room for that, and I couldn't ask to be moved to another department because they didn't have any room for that. So I was kind of stuck working part-time hours, and not only were they part-time hours, by standards of part-time hours, it was very few. So it wasn't very much. So I also was not going to um I also was not going to just go ask around town for like, hey, can I start working? Okay, back up a bit. Back up a bit. Because I'm getting kind of like fed up with the fact that I have so much free time, eventually I kind of overcame the anxiety and the misplaced fear of being thrown into the trades. And so I thought, well, okay, I'll probably still go to this. I'm still going to go to this Newton Electrical Trades program. But you know what? I'm just going to ask if any like non-union shops around town have like work openings. So I talked to one in person, very good conversation, very good company from the looks of it, and he said, yeah, it's slow season, we don't need any help, but thanks for coming. We'll keep you on our files. It was a good experience. Like it didn't yield any fruits. Well, it did yield a fruit. It was the fruit of like just a good experience, I guess, but it didn't yield any career fruits. Like I didn't get a job there. Um, And then I also emailed another place, but basically how that would work is I would email them. The desk lady, like the person in charge of emails, the IT person would refer the email to the boss, and she'd say the boss would get back to me. The boss wouldn't get back to me, so I'd wait a couple weeks. I'd send the message again. She'd say the boss will get back to you. The boss didn't get back to me. Repeat the process, and so eventually I just gave up. And, well, I did stop in at person a couple times, but they both times were like, we don't need any help. So yeah, at this point I'm really starting to get lonely as well because I still have friends, but they're my high school friends and they live all the way back in central Iowa. So like I'm living here in Pella and it's kind of hard to hang out with them and stuff. And I also just want to make Catholic friends because none of those friends were Catholic. And being a fresh convert, I want to make some friends. And so what I do is I look on the parish website and I see there's like a college youth group and stuff and I email the student who is kind of in charge. Well, I wouldn't say she was in charge, but she was kind of a student leader, like kind of thing. Like she didn't really lead them much, but it was just kind of like this is the student you would go to if you're interested. I should say that was a really weird way of like trying to explain that, but her email was added onto the website so you could contact her and ask her about it, and so I did that, and um I became part of this group. And so I didn't go to this college, but because I'm of the same age and I live in the community, they absolutely welcomed me in. And it was very, very awesome because guess what? That girl became my girlfriend later. So we'll get into that a little bit. I also made a friend there. The first day, made a friend. It was awesome. Um, uh, so I'm working at Hy-Vee. I'm going to mass and everything, and I am part of this youth Catholic group. Next month, February, is when I ask this girl out, and because we've had some interactions and stuff, and she's just cool. I just found her to be really attractive, and in both like a physical sense, but also in like a spiritual sense. How she talks about the faith and everything. She's super loyal to the faith. She's practicing, and like that's really attractive. And so I eventually ask her out, and we start dating. So now I'm dating this girl. So there's another like time slot filled. So things are really like my priorities are starting to like um my schedule is filling out, which is what I was looking for because I had so much time. I had so much time in my hands with this part-time job. But as okay, one thing actually I forgot to mention. Right before I asked her out, I had like but in between me joining the group and starting to date this girl, one job opportunity came up. A friend of my dad's, because my dad and him talk about like me and stuff because like I'm his son and everything. So like of course he does, but he's saying, hey, my son's like yeah he's looking for electrical work. It's like oh he is. Well, has he heard of Baker Group? No, what's Baker Group? Baker Group is a they work with the IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, which is the union, the electrical union, and he said like yeah they'd probably take him in. So like yeah just if he's willing to, I could take his resume and like send it to them and everything. And so my dad talks to me about it, and like we talk about it. I'm like, yeah, sure, we'll do that. And so my resume is sent to them. They look at it, and very, very quickly they get back to me. Excuse me. they get back to me and they're like, "Hey, like if you really want to, you could come in, we could talk about stuff, and we could probably could discuss like a future career, like you could start here and everything." And so, um, the problem was this place is situated in central Iowa, and I live in Pella. At this time, I'm like eyeing this girl, and I'm wanting to ask her out, but like this is such a good job opportunity, but I have to move away from her and everything. And so my emotions were kind of out of check there. And I basically decided that I was going to not do that just for the sake that I could spend more time with this like, college camp Catholic, yeah, blah, blah, the Catholic group. I keep missing up. I gotta stop talking fast. I wanted to spend more time with this Catholic group, and I wanted to give it some more time so I could ask her out eventually. So, yeah, I talk very fast, as you can probably already tell, especially when it's something that makes me happy because there's a lot of good things that's happening lately. So anyway, I turned down the job opportunity stupidly, and um, I continue pursuing her. Now, yes, I do eventually date her, and we're still dating. It's phenomenal relationship we have. Um, but come March, we've been dating for like about a month now, and it's like okay, like we're starting to see each other and see who we are and everything, and it's like things are still working. Like we're very, very, very compatible, and so that raises the question: is marriage possible? If marriage is possible, I, as the potential husband and father, need a good job, so, like a providing job. Shopping groceries for customers at Hy-Vee is not going to cut that, especially with part-time itty bitty hours and itty bitty wages. That ain't gonna do much. That's so there was like a fire lit under my butt, and so I really started to kick it in gear. And like at this time, the slow season's like coming to an end because it's spring now, and so I'm going around all these non-union shops again, and I'm like, okay, do you guys need any help? Like, if you need any help, just let me know, and I can. Everybody said no, which was frustrating because the whole narrative of the trades, you got to go into the trades. Okay, well, you don't have to. Trades are a good alternative to college because no debt, you learn a skill, job security, high demand, and all that stuff. And so like I'm seeing all this narrative, but no one's taken me. And so um, at this time, I'm really regretting having turned down that Baker Group position because now that I'm dating this young woman, I know she's not going anywhere. Okay, even if I were to like work at this place, she's not going anywhere. Like we're pretty equally yoked. Well, we should say that we put it that way. And so I really regret having not taken that job opportunity. So basically, what I do is I I try to call the employer, and he doesn't answer. So I leave a voicemail and I send him a text as well, and he doesn't get back. So I just kind of continue the job search, and eventually it comes to a day where this day sucked. I literally got sick after this day because of how anxious I was. I'm going around town to town. Nobody needs any help. And my dad's kind of getting on me because he really wants me to get a career. As he should. Like he's a good dad, so like he's getting on his son about getting a career and everything, especially because his son's dating someone who he could possibly marry. So that adds to that. It was just a really rough day because by the end of it, no one I not I got no progress, and I'm sitting in my car utterly defeated. I'm just sitting there like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Do I seriously have to wait this 7 months um to start this electrical program at DMAC, and in the meantime I just work this measly job? Lo and behold, that moment I'm sitting in my car, I get a call from none other than this Baker Group employer, and he says, "Hey, I'm sorry. I was on vacation. I meant to give. I wish I could have gotten back to you sooner. I got your message. Yeah, we'd absolutely love to talk to you again. Does Friday work and everything?" And I'm like, I am so relieved. like I literally like after I get done calling him, I'm like in the car like pumping my fists and I'm like, "Thank you, Lord. Thank you, God," because like I said, I was just defeated. And then at that moment, this call comes in, this great job opportunity pops in, interview is scheduled over the phone, and it's like, yes, yes, I got something. I found a job. But I was very enthusiastic about that, as you could probably tell. And so it was a very exciting conversation to have with my girlfriend. And so the interview happens on Friday, and he basically says, "Yeah, we'll take you in. We'll take you in. You'll be starting as a construction wireman." And conveniently, coincidentally, they have a project in Pella, where I live. That's another thing. Now, I don't really believe in luck anymore. Like, I mean, I was always a Christian, and I'm now Catholic, but like, come on, like that's a sign. That's like God winking at me, basically. And so I was very, very humbled and grateful to have that opportunity present itself. And so I took the job. I took the job, and actually, I start tomorrow. As I'm recording this, I start tomorrow. Um, yeah, and like also as this is happening, the relationship with my girlfriend is getting better and better and better. Where like we have already discussed like the possibility of marrying someday and everything, and it's going so well. I met her family in that time, and like I love her family loves me, like everything's going well. It almost feels like a fairy tale. It's kind of suspicious how well it's going, and it's just things are falling into place. And I, and also to add on top of that, this community, this college Catholic group I'm a part of is just beautiful. Like these, like getting to like form these relationships with all these people is just beautiful, and like I'm becoming a better person. Like not that I was a horrible person before, but I'm just like I'm becoming myself. I'm learning who I really am and everything, and it's just a lot of good stuff has been happening. So yeah, there are some like worries and concerns I have with this job, particularly the job culture and the danger, because the job culture, not everyone is like this. It's not okay to stereotype people, but like there are indeed people in the trades who are really like gruff, vulgar, abrasive, and they're just kind of rude. And I don't really do well around those types of people, I guess. I haven't really had much experience other than one. There was a pest control job ahead, and I'll make another video about that sometime because that's not what this is about. If I were to talk about that, we'd go on for like an hour. So I'm just going to leave that out of this video, but I really don't do well around those types of people. Well, I guess I should say they make me anxious. I can still do my job fine, but like mentally, I just get stressed out. So I'll be able to handle it, but it'll be a challenge at first. And then also the danger, like every trade is dangerous because you're dealing with like heavy equipment and like the job sites and everything. But with the electrical trades in particular, there's the risk of like electrocution. And so as long as you're not being stupid, as long as you know what you're doing, and there's like the whole lockout tagout system, as long as you're like just following um safety protocol and everything, you will be fine. From what I've heard, like it is dramatic. It is astronomically low to have to die if you're like really following the instructions. Really, what would have to happen is some freak accident or someone else kills you, basically. Um, so yeah, like I said, there's like some like worries I have, but the pros far outweigh the cons. So especially for someone who wants to become a husband and father. And like I said, this is really exciting because marriage is becoming like a huge possibility with this girlfriend. And now that this job happens, this career, I can start building towards like a very stable career while I'm also building towards a marriage. So like they're just converging together, and it's like, what did I do to deserve this? Like this is awesome. So yeah, just a lot of graces are happening in my life. I'm very grateful to God for that. And originally, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but like my family is kind of we're more non-union people. We don't. My dad in particular doesn't really like the union, but um, because the opportunity was so like he, it was such a good opportunity to be stupid not to take it. he's been really softening up to the idea of like a union and stuff, and so it's awesome. I personally think the gripes between union and non-union is really overblown. It's kind of stupid. It's like unnecessary politics, really. There's pros and cons to both, and really the pros and cons depend on where you live. Like in my example, every single non-union place did not need help, but the union who like immediately took me was like that was objectively the better option for me. So yeah, a lot of stuff happening. And okay, another thing I talked about in my previous video was kind of like an attachment I have to video games. I still kind of have that, but it's getting better because I sold my PlayStation. If I right now were to go back in time and tell like me from like a couple months ago that I would sell the PlayStation, or even like a year ago, um, past me would kind of freak out a bit because I was really attached to that thing. I really loved playing that thing. It was a big problem, and so I sold it. I sold it for like $200, and guess who I sold it to? I sold it to the friend I made at the Catholic group. So, because he was looking for a PlayStation, so kind of works out like that, I guess. I still have the Nintendo Switch 2 that I got back in June. I got it like launch day. Because I like Nintendo. It's kind of a hobby. It's less the Switch 2 is less of an addiction and more of just a hobby I have. So there's no big reason to get rid of it. Because it has Mario Kart, it has Super Smash Brothers, and like those are just objectively fun and wholesome games to play with people when you have the time, especially like brothers, siblings, and friends and everything. So I'm keeping the Switch too. Um, prayer life, my prayer life is kind of complicated right now because I am someone who is very interested in philosophy and theology. I like the intellectual aspects of the faith, but when it comes to the personal building a relationship with God, I struggle with that because it's really easy for me to see as God as like in like the theological Thomistic way, like you see him philosophically. But what I need to be seeing him as is not just a philosophical truth, but as a father, as a person, as my savior. And so trying to enter into that like personal relationship has also been kind of difficult, especially with like I'm just getting over the video game addiction to PlayStation 5 after selling it, but there's so many distractions. Like this, my phone, this right now is my biggest distraction. Instagram in particular, and YouTube. It is like this thing, like it look at it. It's just a rectangular brick. It's this rectangular flat tiny device. And yet it accounts for so many of our addictions, accounts for so much of our time these days. And I sound hypocritical saying this because I have an attachment to this thing, and here I am preaching to the choir about how bad and like how dangerous the addictions are. But I've been there. I'm in that situation, and I can tell you it's rough being addicted to screens. Um, but it is getting better for me. So, but there's still a long ways to go. Um, yeah. So that was kind of a big talk I had. So, um, yeah. One other point I just kind of want to talk about a bit, particularly getting a girlfriend. For me, um, back in December, I was really kind of struggling, just like mentally. I was like, that was the point where when I decided I wasn't going to go back to college and that I really didn't know what I was doing and the electrical trades, like I was going to pursue that, but like it was something so new to me, and so I was kind of scared a little bit. I kind of felt pathetic, and there were just these thoughts of like no woman's ever going to want to marry me. No woman's ever going to want me. The idea of like a woman choosing me was so foreign to me. It was like an alien. And so now that I'm dating this wonderful woman, this wonderful young woman, it's like all those wounds just gone, shattered. And I'm just, again, I keep saying this. I am so grateful for that. I'm so grateful. But oddly enough, I do. well, I would have, how do I phrase this? Oddly enough, while I am like super duper like I'm genuinely in love with her. Like she is amazing in so many ways, in like virtuous ways too. While I do really want to marry her someday, and like I'm so drawn to her and everything, I would be like I can tell myself right now I would be okay if one day we broke up and it wasn't God's will that we were together. I would be okay. Um, which is kind of it's healthy. There's like this holy detachment, but at the same time, it's kind of weird to think about. I don't know. That was kind of a weird thought. Yeah. I think that's all I have to talk about right now. So, yeah. I'll try to keep making videos. Um, it's like I said at the beginning of the video, it has been a while since the last time I uploaded. So, I know I have some like a little bit of a following here, like a couple hundred subscribers. So I'll try to keep making videos. We'll just see how the schedule goes. This making videos is like a hobby. It's not really like it's obviously not a profession for me. It's just a hobby. So I like making videos. So and I never use scripts. And as you can probably tell, yeah, the camera quality isn't the greatest and the audio quality isn't the greatest because this is just my laptop. This is literally just my laptop. I don't know if you can see the key. You probably can't see the keyboard there, but yeah, as I'm like moving the screen up and down, you can tell it's a foldable portable laptop. So, um, yeah, I will make more videos in the future for sure. I'm not sure when the next one will be. Um, I'll probably make a video on that pest control job and last summer that I mentioned previously, but I'm not sure when that would be either. So, thank you for watching all the way to the end. This is like we're at like 27 minutes now, so I rambled for quite a bit. Um, thank you for watching. God bless, and I hope you have a very, very blessed day slash night slash evening slash afternoon, whatever time it is you're watching this. I hope it's very blessed, and God bless you.